In the quiet town of Maplewood, life had always seemed simple and predictable. People knew their neighbors, children played in the streets until the sun went down, and the occasional small-town scandal or petty theft made headlines, but nothing truly shook the community. That was until the night of June 14th, a night that would forever change the town's perception of safety. No one could have expected that a murder would take place so silently, so unexpectedly, and in a manner that would haunt the town for years to come. The victim was Emily Carver, a 28-year-old school teacher known for her kindness and dedication to her students. She had no enemies, no disputes, and was living what everyone considered an ideal life. Yet beneath the calm surface, a silent predator was lurking, someone whose presence went unnoticed by those around them. Emily's life on the day of the incident appeared ordinary. She spent the morning at the school preparing lessons, interacted with her students, and returned home to her small apartment. Neighbors later reported that everything seemed normal. The lights were on, her car was parked in its usual spot, and she greeted the mail carrier with her typical friendly smile. Yet something was amiss, something only the perpetrator understood. Around 10 p.m., Emily was found in her apartment by a close friend who had come to check on her after she missed a scheduled dinner. The scene was shocking in its simplicity. There were no signs of forced entry, no dramatic struggle, and nothing to suggest a violent encounter. The murder had been executed quietly, efficiently, and with chilling precision. The investigation began immediately, with law enforcement combing through every detail of Emily's life. Detectives were puzzled because there was no motive, no clear suspect, and no apparent connection to any past criminal activity. Her financial records were clean, her personal relationships were seemingly perfect, and even her social media interactions revealed nothing suspicious. It was as if the murder had appeared out of nowhere, a sudden act by someone with an almost invisible presence in her life. The police soon realized they were dealing with a silent killer, someone who had the patience to observe, plan, and strike without leaving the slightest clue. Community members were terrified. Maplewood was a town that prided itself on its safety and neighborly trust, and now the realization that someone could commit such a crime unnoticed instilled fear and paranoia. Residents began locking doors earlier, installing security cameras, and scrutinizing even the most familiar faces in their daily lives. The concept of a silent killer, someone capable of blending into the background while carrying out a heinous act, was no longer just a story in crime novels. It was a reality that had invaded their lives. Forensic analysis provided some clues, though frustratingly few. Investigators found traces of fibers and faint footprints, but nothing substantial enough to identify the culprit immediately. The murder weapon was never recovered, and there were no fingerprints, making it nearly impossible to determine the perpetrator through conventional methods. Experts called it one of the most meticulous killings they had ever encountered, a crime executed with a level of calm and calculation that was deeply unnerving. The detectives began to suspect that the killer had studied Emily's routines extensively, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, a moment when they would not be noticed by anyone. As the investigation continued, the police explored every possible angle. Friends, colleagues, and acquaintances were interviewed repeatedly, but no one could recall anything unusual or threatening. Even casual observers, like the delivery man who saw Emily's apartment daily, could not remember anyone suspicious. The silence surrounding the case became almost a character itself, a presence as unsettling as the crime. The killer had left a void of evidence, forcing investigators to rely on intuition, psychological profiling, and painstaking analysis of subtle behavioral patterns. Psychologists and criminal profilers were brought in to construct a picture of the murderer. They suggested that the perpetrator was likely someone who could operate unnoticed, someone who knew how to avoid detection while maintaining a facade of normalcy. The profile painted a chilling picture, a person capable of empathy in public, yet entirely detached from human morality in private, someone who could plan and execute murder with surgical precision, and someone who thrived in silence. It was a concept difficult for the townspeople to grasp, that someone could walk among them daily, smiling, interacting, and yet be plotting something so dark. Months passed with little progress. The case drew attention from true crime enthusiasts, journalists, and online communities, each theorizing about who the killer could be and how they managed to remain invisible. Rumors spread, adding layers of fear and speculation. Some believed it was someone Emily had known closely, while others speculated about a stranger who had simply chosen her at random. The uncertainty created a climate of suspicion that permeated Maplewood, where neighbors began questioning the safety of even casual interactions. Eventually, a breakthrough came when a forensic team noticed a pattern in similar cases across neighboring towns. Each involved meticulous planning, no apparent motive, and victims who seemed ordinary and unthreatening. The similarities pointed toward a possible serial offender, someone who had perfected the art of silent killing. This revelation shocked the community, suggesting that Emily's murder was not an isolated incident, but part of a disturbing sequence. The fear escalated as residents realized the predator could strike again, silently, anywhere, at any time. The case remains a haunting example of how a murder can occur without warning, executed by someone who leaves almost no trace. Emily Carver's story serves as a chilling reminder that danger does not always announce itself, that some killers operate in shadows, as ordinary lives can be disrupted by the unexpected. Maplewood would never again feel completely safe, and the legend of the silent killer would echo through the town's history for years to come. A cautionary tale of vigilance and awareness in a world where even the most predictable life can be shattered in an instant. Every detail, from the calm demeanor of the victim's last day to the painstaking investigation, emphasizes the terrifying reality that the most dangerous threats are often invisible. In studying this case, one gains insight not just into the mechanics of crime, but into the psychology of those who commit it, the methods they use to hide, and the profound impact on communities and loved ones left behind. The story of Emily Carver, the silent killer, and the investigation that followed remains a stark illustration of fear, suspense, and the fragile nature of safety in everyday life.